Evelyn to Philip, March 31st, 1944. Dearest darling, received your letter of March 21st today. Your V-mail of 22nd March came yesterday. I don't know what you mean by Liberty Run. Adele says dada, not dada, when she sings. I've told you that my father sells. You ought to know a little about salesman's work, plus the paperwork that goes along. He does a little unpacking and storing, but mostly selling. Today was one of those days when everything went wrong. I was so utterly disgusted about 3:30 that I took myself upstairs and took a nap to settle my nerves. I started the day off with a bang, having completed my housework by 9:30 a.m. I was dressed and ready to go out and stay out for the day at 10. I took a walk to Broad Street with Adele in the walker, deposited Sharp & Dome's check, and then stopped at Walpy's, where I ordered 2 8x10s, one of the smiling pose and one of the serious. He gave me the certificate of honorable mention, which has a proof-sized picture of Adele, smiling pose, pasted to it. He charged me $2 apiece for the large pictures and $1 for the proofs you have. I had given a $2 deposit and paid the balance of $3. From there, I went to 11th Street and got a few things at Sailor's. Then I headed home, as it was clouding up and was time for Adele to eat lunch. Adele hasn't had a decent meal for days, and this lunchtime she was exceptionally unhungry. She had a glass of milk and a taste of junket. She was in bed by 12:15. Shortly after I had lunch, the sink stopped up, and we are still trying to pump it through. I skinned my whole left thumb from pumping and cut myself in the bargain. Adele hit her chin against the front door as we came in earlier. When Adele awoke, I dressed her and placed her in the playpen. I resumed my pumping. My brother Jack came in and got to playing with Adele. He threw her up in the air in a sort of swing-like motion and accidentally banged her head on the fixture on the porch, which has a sharp point on it. Luckily, I wasn't present, for it unnerved me enough as is. Evidently, her head hit at an angle, and it only made a slight bruise, but it bled for quite a while. I applied cold compresses and painted it with mercurochrome, and it's all right now. You can well imagine how all this made me feel, baby, and I'm glad this day is over. I washed and set my hair, showered, and settled down to read So Little Time last night. I got to page 54 before sleep overtook me. The book is kind of deep at the beginning and isn't as easy to read as A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Page 2. It is terribly late, so I think I shall hold this letter and finish it tomorrow, if you don't mind, sweet. I love you, Phil. April 1st, 1944. Almost wrote March, as you may have noticed. Gosh, 3 months of 1944 are gone, and the end of the war is not yet in sight. Did you say you'd see me in 44? I'm beginning to wonder if we'll see each other in 45. There was some mail this morning, your V-mail of 24th of March. I'm missing many before that date, and for the first time in months, all the checks arrived on time in correct amounts. I took a walk up to the bank to cash the check, taking Adele along. I met one of my old school chums at the bank, and we had a grand time reminiscing. I gave Mom $40 for board and Betty $20 for my coat and bag. I paid $1.07 for the cleaning of my blue wool dress, Adele's blue skirt, and my white kid gloves. And some good news for you. I bought a whole box of Goldenberg's peanut chews, chocolate covered. You know what I mean. It only weighs about 2¼ pounds, so I intend to get a few other things to make 5 pounds. Your letter of March 21st contained a request. I'm glad you remembered. Keep up the good work. I'll probably get this package off sometime next week. April 2nd, 1944. I'm terribly sorry, Angel, but I just haven't had the opportunity to get down to some real letter writing. Adele has a beaut of a cold again and is cranky and unmanageable. Every time she cuts a tooth, she gets a cold. She has to have everything the hard way. She cut number 10 tooth, and at such times a baby's resistance is low, thereby making them susceptible to colds. The weather, too, hasn't been good. It's always cloudy, dampish, and chilly, or else it's raining. We had April showers last night. I'll be glad when this weather changes. Today's the bris for Stuart Chase, and I don't think I shall be able to attend. The Chases are entertaining with plenty of food and drink after the bris at the house, and everyone we know will be there. Somehow I have no desire to go. I told Mom I'd rather stay home and write a much-owed letter, and she thought I was nuts. I think so too. Nuts about you, baby. Honestly, sweet, as we near our 8th month of separation, I can think of nothing better than to say how much dearer you are to me. And don't for 1 minute think I'll become conceited when you sing your praises of me. I won't. I'm not the type, if you please. Page 3. Adele tore the 1944 Red Cross sticker off the front door the other day while Sarah was holding her. Ever since that time, when she happens to be near the door, she pats her wrist, says Mama, and pats herself again. This means she shouldn't do it again or else Mama will spank. Jack came in yesterday and picked her up. She touched her head, then pointed to the porch fixture. Need I explain further? Refer to first page if in doubt. Adele, believe it or not, likes to read. She tore one of her picture books, and I allow her to play with the pieces. She recognizes and says, ball, boy, wow, wow. Can't get her to say dog, and doll. She reads to herself by making all sorts of queer sounds with her tongue, and continues this noisy streak for a full 10 minutes till she gets bored. Ruth brought her a rabbit, oilcloth construction from the 5 and 10. She's working there again, without a face. The manufacturers had neglected to paint in a face, and the management told Ruth she could have it. Adele looked and looked for the face. I'll make one with crayon. When she chances to pick it up, I ask her who gave it to her, and she replies, Ruth. Once in a while she stays up later. That kid never wants to sleep, and watches Natalie and her girlfriends dance about the living room next door. She watches only so long, then joins in. She wiggles her tookie, shakes her shoulders, picks her feet up, puts them down, runs around in circles, shakes her head, waves her arms, and makes everyone laugh. I always look and say, is that my girl? I can just imagine what your reactions would be were you able to see her at present. That day will come in the not-too-distant future, I hope. I dread mealtimes anymore. She holds the food in her mouth for hours and hours, or so it seems. She threw up yesterday because I gave her asparagus, and she detests most vegetables. She has a lousy habit of putting her finger on her tongue and pressing it till she can throw up. I can't help wondering how you would handle her at such times. Most doctors advise starving the child for at least 48 hours, giving them only drink till they are good and hungry. I sometimes skip her lunch and she eats supper well, but most people think I'm positively heartless. What would you do? I'm running out of patience with her. I get so weary at times that I don't give a damn. Note that I'm throwing in a little of the bad with the good. Natalie's bedroom is reaching its final stages. Phil, you'd love it. Betty bought a large oval rug of flowers in pastel shades with a fringe border for $32.25. The bed, chest, and night table cost $148. She bought a quilted bedspread with a large fancy pillow to match at a cost of $18. It has a lovely peach background, pastel, page 4, colored flowers, a large white organdy ruffle about the edges. The kidney-shaped vanity, mirrored top, was purchased separately at a cost of $13. It was unpainted and required 2 coats of paint. Then she purchased an organdy white skirt with ruffled edges and a background of another material of peach. It is very ruffly, and the entire room is extremely feminine. The skirt is tacked onto the vanity. She has 2 small gold-framed pictures above the bed. One word describes it to perfection: exquisite. I have hopes of furnishing such a room for Adele once you come home, and you ask what we need in the way of furniture. 9 p.m. I went to the bris after all. Phil and Em drove Mom, Goldie, and I there. Harry went on the night shift today and couldn't make it. I had a grand time, honey, and wished very much that you had been there. I learned a much-guarded secret while there, and I am telling you only. Etta is pregnant. Yep, she's the next question mark. Never a dull moment around here. Phil can't understand where you got the idea that he doesn't like to write letters. He writes to Emma daily and enjoys writing very much. He's waiting for your reply, and you'd better send it to save face. The bris was over in a half hour, and there was sponge cake, honey cake, strudel, whiskey, and port wine. I had a glass of port, and it was simply delicious. After that, we all drove to the Chases, where we had a meal prepared by none other than Mickey. Those present were all the Chase brothers, Bob, Lena, Mim. She is living with them at least 3 months already. Phil, Em, Pauline, Sam, Cookie, Etta, Nat, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, and that's all I remember offhand. They had some spread: roast beef sandwiches, coleslaw, potato salad, sour pickles, olives, potato chips, soda, beer, wine, whiskey, various cakes, candies, nuts, etc. Etta is only 2 months gone, and it's supposed to be a deep, dark secret, but Emma let it go to me. I kept saying, Goldie is next. I wonder who will be the next one. Emma said, you never can tell. I said, Etta? I knew it immediately. I've been expecting it for some time. After all, she's not a young chicken, and better late than never. Mr. Chase was also present and gave me a present for Adele. I've been getting more presents. It's a cotton red print dress, very plain but neat. Our sink is still choked up, but Uncle Sam, no less, Promise to come tomorrow and fix the sink and the oven door. We shall see. Well, baby mine, I love you so much. It's time to say au revoir with the big hug and kiss from... She forgot to sign it.